What's up, nerds? It's your boy. It is March. It is the 30th day of March. It is about 8:30 in the morning on the 30th day of March. It is bright and sunny here at Site B, Mega Power March, where I make a whole bunch of random superheroes and post them on locals and talk about superhero role-playing games at least once a week. Now, obviously, we can't talk about superhero role-playing games without talking about the king. Champions. So much of the superhero role-playing game industry owes its origins to Champions. It is probably the biggest. It is probably the most well-known. It's maybe the most popular. It has had so many different editions. 6 official editions of Champions, and a couple other unofficial ones like Dark Champions and what was the Champions New Millennium, the Champions Fusion crossover. That one I actually worked on. So many clones and retro clones, GURPS Supers, Mutants and Masterminds. Every D20 superhero role-playing game that came out during the OGL was inspired by Champions in one form or another. So yeah, point-based superheroes. Now, Champions has a lot of stuff I love. For one thing, it has my all-time favorite origin for a character, Ankylosaur. I love his origin so much, I have stolen it and used it for characters in the past. Guy mails his superpowers to himself. I love that origin. Has Foxbat, who I absolutely loved Foxbat. It's had comic books, at least, it's so heavily influenced. So you can't talk about superhero role-playing games without talking about Champions and Aaron Alston, and all the stuff, and Steve Peterson, and is there anybody who is a fan of the genre who hasn't heard of Champions? It is probably the best. A lot of people say so. I always prefer random power generation, but yeah. Now, I've always had a problem with Champions, and I don't know why. I assume it's my dyslexia or just some personal distaste. I don't know. Maybe it's just Pavlovian. Even to this day, when I try to make Champions characters, they don't work. They don't come out right. I get the math wrong. Even if I am looking at another Champions character and literally just copying it and changing the name, which I've done, somehow I still get the math wrong. Every Champions character I've ever played has somehow been wrong. I've somehow gotten the math wrong. I've never understood it. All the OIFs and OAFs and always-ons and all the little bits and pieces and the times 1/2. The Champions math has never worked with my brain, which is weird because GURPS Supers, which I helped design, I totally was able to build GURPS Super characters, and I never had a problem with it. Savage World Supers. Never had a problem with Savage World Supers. Every single solitary idea I had during the time we were playing Savage World Superheroes Necessary Evil, I was able to make, including some pretty weird ones. So, never had a trouble with that one. Mutants and Masterminds. I never got a chance to play it. It just felt like D20 super, Champions trying to be D&D, D&D trying to be Champions, at least the first 2 editions. The 3rd edition is different enough. I did have some troubles the one time we tried playing Mutants and Masterminds, but for the most part, I've never understood Champions. The Champions math. It's like where everybody sat down, we're all going to make 200-point characters, and I made a 200-point character that was pretty self-standard and did everything I wanted to do. Sure, I might have copied a lot of the character from another character that was already made because somebody's already done the math. Why should I? And then somebody across from me has got a character who's basically the Green Lantern and is doing, 15 D6s, and I'm like, how did you build this character? And then they show you all the math, and your brain just goes just how wibbly wobbly timey wimey. How did you make this work? And so many times I got told that I made my Champions characters wrong. So I have always had a problem with Champions. I was able to play in a Champions one shot a couple months ago, and I made a pretty easy character, a telekinetic, and I mostly found a character that was online that was a Champions character that had telekinesis and copied it and changed a few things in the skills, and I thought I was done, but nope, apparently my math was wrong. And there was stuff I missed, like endurance costs and stuff like that. So yeah, I've always had a problem with Champions, and I don't know why. Maybe it's my dyslexia, maybe it's just because I had an initial bad experience with it. I've always built it up to just be impossible. in my brain, but I believe I am alone on my island off the coast of Costa Rica in my feelings for this game. It is still a great game, and I still enjoyed playing it, and it does have my all-time favorite origin of a character ever. I mailed my superpowers to myself. So, and it's got Foxbat and Flair, and, you know, just wouldn't have a superhero role-playing game genre without champions. So you can't talk about Mega Power March. You can't talk about superheroes without talking about champions. If you want to see the superheroes that I created this month using the various random generators you can find online, there's a link to my locals down below. What is your all-time favorite superhero role-playing game? Let me know what you're thinking. Back to you later. Till next time, Excelsior!